Election season is here. What Miami-Dade County voters need to know. Hello, everyone. I'm Rosie Roselle with another episode of Calle Ocho News Conversations. Today, we're joined by the Miami-Dade County Supervisor of Elections, Alina Garcia. Supervisor Garcia, thank you for joining us today. You've been everywhere lately, practicing your ceremonial first pitch for the Miami Marlins, supporting donations for families affected by the tragedy in Venezuela. How do you manage to balance all of that during election season?
Well, Rosie, thank you so much for this opportunity to speak with you and with your followers. As women, we're used to multitasking. So it's, we go and do whatever is needed, and that's part of my life. I've been doing it for 40 years, not as a supervisor of elections, of course, but working for other elected officials. So, I'd like to be involved in the community.
You make it look easy. We have an important primary election coming up on August 18th. For voters who may not be following the election closely, what are the key dates and deadlines they should know between now and election day?
Well, the books are already closed, but you can request a vote by mail ballot by August 6th. It's the last day to request a vote by mail ballot, but why wait, right? If you want to vote by mail, you could call us at 305-499-8444, or you can go on our website at votemiamidade.gov and request your vote by mail. Also, we will have early voting from the 3rd of August through the 16th of August. And of course, the last day to vote is election day on the 18th.
Have any vote by mail ballots already been sent?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You already sent over 191,000 vote by mail ballots, and we've received over 30,000 already.
So this is for people that didn't get one?
For people that have not requested. After.
Oh, okay. Those are people that requested it.
Yes. If you want to vote by mail, you need to request it. As I said, the number to call is 305-499-8444.
And is there anything that those voters who receive those mail-in ballots should know to make sure their vote counts?
Well, it's very important that they fill out the ovals, that they fill them out completely with with black or blue ink. Mm-hmm. It's also important that they seal the envelope and that they sign the envelope. They could bring their vote by mail ballots here to elections office, or they can take it to any of the early voting sites, or you can put it in the mail. No postage necessary.
Are there any common mistakes that you see with these mail-in ballots?
People forget to sign. It's very common. People will forget to sign. They seal it and then they forget to sign. So it's always important that you check and make sure that you signed your ballot.
So you got that, guys? Make sure you sign that ballot. It's a simple mistake that they see here all the time.
Yeah.
Another thing I noticed this election cycle is the new sample ballot. Your office introduced a redesigned sample ballot this year that's very easy to read. Where can voters find the copy, and how can they access their own personalized ballot before heading to the polls?
Well, you can get your personal sample ballot by going into our website at votemiamidade.gov. They're also in a lot of the newspapers. You're going to have the sample ballots, and we have a QR code where you can download, and it's very easy. And if we have your email, you probably received a sample ballot also via email.
I've heard you say many times, make a plan to vote. Why is having a voting plan so important, and what should that plan include?
Well, when you're going to go to a party or you're going to go someplace that is important, and, voting, that's your civic duty, and it's super important. It's what keeps our democracy healthy. So it's important to make a plan, and maybe you can go with your children or with your mom or with a neighbor that maybe that neighbor doesn't have a ride, and, make it an event. It's so important. We're so blessed to have voting. We're so blessed to live in a democracy. This is an experiment that started years ago. And, for 250 years, we've had a democracy in the United States of America. And I'm very, very excited, very blessed. And I thank God every day for our democracy.
You heard that, guys? Make it a family outing. Bring in the younger generations. Show them. Make a good example.
Kids love to go with their parents to the voting sites. We see them all the time. So it's, young kids and older kids.
It's inspiring
important.
to see the youth inspired and motivated.
Yeah.
And
And do you know that you can register to vote by the age of 16? You can already register to vote. You can't vote until you're 18, but you can register to vote at the age of 16.
start early, guys.
Yeah.
Early voting is always an option. Can you explain how early voting works in Miami-Dade County and why so many voters choose that option?
Well, early voting is very attractive. Number one, because it's got you have 2 whole weeks, on the weekends to go vote. And we have 23 sites, and you can vote at any of these sites. You don't have to go to your polling place. You can go to any of these sites. So, sometimes a person might want to go a place where it's close to them where they work. They could go during lunchtime. They can go after work. The first week, we're going to have early voting in the morning. The second week, we're going to have early voting until the afternoon. It's from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So the first week it's from 7 a.m. to I think 3 p.m. And the second week it's from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. But, make sure that you check because I'm not 100% sure of that, of the morning time. And then on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, it's from 8 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it makes it very accessible. Really, there's no reason not to vote. You can vote by mail. You can vote early, or you can vote in person. When you go to vote on election day, you have to go to the address. That card that we send with all the people that belong to your district.
Mm-hmm.
And that card is where you have the address to your polling location. You can also find that online. If you go into your online election ready, you can find that there also.
There's really no excuse, guys. You got to get out there
Yeah.
and vote. Your office spends a lot of time educating the community about the voting process. What are some of the biggest misconceptions people still have about voting that you'd like to clear up?
Well, people think that if they go vote, then they have jury duty. And that is not true. That doesn't happen anymore. Okay. So, a lot of people don't want to go to jury duty, but that's a misconception. Even though jury duty is very important, and it's important to have, your peers there if you have that situation.
You've dedicated many years to public service, Ms. Garcia. For someone who has never voted before, or perhaps hasn't voted in many years, what would you say to encourage them to participate in this election?
Well, I would tell them that, I was born in Cuba, and my parents, thank God, brought me to this wonderful country when I was very young. And in Cuba, we don't have that right. In Cuba, we've lost all of our freedoms, and Cuba's a disaster. So we need to, we can't take things for granted. It's important to partake, because in order to have a democracy that is healthy, we need to be involved. We need our citizens to be involved and to vote, and we need to hear your voices. I always tell people that in elections, we are all the guardians of democracy. And that is so because, in voting, we take care of our democracy.
And what a beautiful right it is that we take for granted, right? Because we have it so easily here in the United States, but there's so many people in the world that would love, and people here that have lost that right.
Listen, people in Iran, people in Cuba, people in Venezuela, people in Santo Domingo. I'm sorry, not Santo Domingo. Nicaragua. There's a lot of Santo Domingo, thank God, is doing really well. But Haiti, they have a huge problem. There's a lot of countries that have a lot of problems, and that when good people don't get involved, you allow evil to triumph. So it's always important to be involved.
And once the primary election is behind us, can you remind our viewers what comes next and why it's so important to stay engaged through the general election as well?
Well, the general election is very important. In this primary election, we're going to be voting for judges, we're going to be voting for commissioners, and we're going to choose who's going to represent us in the general election. So Republicans and Democrats will choose their candidates for the general election, for governor, for the Senate, for the federal Senate, for the Florida House, for the Florida Senate. Those candidates are partisan candidates, and we will vote on them. And then if there's any runoffs, we'll have them in November also for the judges, if there's any runoffs. And of course, there's going to be a lot of questions, county questions, city questions. The questions are important because they're asking you how you want things to go, so it's important that you read and you learn about them.
In just 30 seconds, can you tell Miami-Dade voters why every vote truly matters?
Every vote matters because each vote is your voice, and it's telling us, I care about my community, I care about my government, and I care about my freedoms. So your vote counts because you care about all of those things.
Supervisor Garcia, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and for helping keep our community informed about the voting process. To learn more about voting locations, sample ballots, election dates, and voter resources, be sure to visit the Miami-Dade Elections website. And for more interviews with the leaders making a difference in our community, follow Calle Ocho News, like, subscribe, share, and comment. I'm Rosie Roselle. Thank you for watching.